Hello, and welcome to the Gers TV morning show. It's the breakfast show with Si Leslie. I don't know if I'm going to have a guest on today. It should have been Big Mark, but I'm not sure. Quite sure he's up in time, so I might be on my own here. If you could just help me out by going to the bottom corner and liking, sharing, following the show, the channel, and give us some more subs, that would be appreciated. So like, share and subscribe, and that would be much appreciated. Thank you very much for that, guys. So today's show will be a shorter one. I just want to talk about the news that I woke up to this morning. Rangers look to be serious contenders for a new right back from Aston Villa. I think this has been ongoing for a while. 21-year-old Costa Nijelikovic. That's the best pronunciation I can get on it. And he's currently at Aston Villa, but he's played with RB Leipzig on loan. And he's also been at Crvena Zvezda and back to Aston Villa. So he's been out loan twice. But he's playing for Aston Villa, right back, and it looks like Rangers are in for him. This would be a good move for Rangers. It's a $4 million deal. It's an initial deal of $4 million, but obviously the more games that he plays, the better he is, the more money it costs us. That might be the answer to our right back position. I don't know enough a lot about the boy, to be fair. However, certainly what we're looking for is to get that defence fixed. As much as I've spoken about the problem up front for weeks now, if we stop goals coming in, that'll be a major part of how we progress this season. So you can let me know your thoughts on that, but it looks like we could be getting this boy in. It doesn't look like fake news. It looks like a genuine story where we'll be bringing a right back in a week after bringing in Jamie Penrice at left back. McCannia came in from the MLS last week, so we wanted a full new defence. We could be getting one. That just leaves you with the problem: who partners McCannia? Do we stick with Fernandes, or do we get a bid for him and do we take it? I think Derek McInnes would take the bid for Fernandes if it came in. I think he would be happy to change it a wee bit there. If he could get rid of Fernandes and John Souttar, that really solves a problem in terms of staff, but we'd have to get another centre-half in, I think. And even if you keep Fernandes, I still think you need another centre-half. Mainly because I don't think we've got a lot of cover there, and I'm not 100% sure how much I really trust having Fernandes in the defence. Ability-wise, yep, no issues at all. But in terms of the concentration levels, I'm not sure if his head's went. I don't know if he thinks he's a better player than he is, but I would be looking to move on Fernandes and build the team around, build the defence around McCannia. However, I must say I thought it was a fantastic debut by Jamie Penrice, and then I watched his interviews last night. That boy knows all about the club and what it means to be a Ranger, having previously been here as a young kid. So it looks a bit more promising when you see the defence slowly getting itself together. I think McInnes is trying his hardest in the background, but what it looks to be is the harder he's trying, the longer he's got to wait to get these players in. So hopefully we get this young boy for Aston Villa, and hopefully it's done before the end of the week. Certainly like to have him in for the European. I'm pretty sure he can play in the European tie Thursday night. He might not be registered actually for that, the more I think of it, but get him in and get him over at Ibrox, and don't do what we've done with the PSV guy. Get him actually signed so he can come on the park as a Rangers player. No, somebody watching, seeing how shit the game is, and then deciding there's no one to sign. And that's my views on that, so you can let me know. I've also got the big story that's also going to be coming up is the fact that Celtic have been drawn at Ibrox for the League Cup tie in September, and the question is going to be how many tickets that they get for it, what they're entitled to, and what Rangers should give them. They haven't currently paid the bill for the riots and the vandalism for the last time they played at Ibrox. Never mind the four pitch invasions after that, or the riots in the city centre. So personally speaking, I'd be very cautious of giving them any tickets, but it'll be interesting to see what fans think of that. Latimer's came in registered by 10 o'clock Wednesday night. What do you mean by that, mate? Do you mean he has to be registered by 10 o'clock Wednesday night and able to play? That's interesting. I think that's what you're meaning anyway there, but thanks for contributing with that. So I think if he's coming to Glasgow today, get his medical done, and cheers mate. So if you get him in the day, get his medical done and have him registered before 10 o'clock tomorrow night, he'll be fit enough. He'll be legally allowed to play for the Rangers in the European tie by the looks of it. So that would be a big help. That would be. No idea what that comment means. I'll give the filth hee-haw McGraw, give them no tickets. It's too early in the morning, Raymond. It's too early in the morning to get to read that and understand your text there for a minute. I'll put it on. I think a lot of Rangers fans would put it down to a minimum ticket allocation. Celtic will clearly ask for the most amount of tickets that they can get, but they haven't paid the fine, so I don't see Rangers changing that stance. And remember, it's an SPFL rule. It's not an SFA rule, so that's quite interesting for anyone that are not sure of that. What that means is the SFA don't have any sanction on it. They kind of forced what happened the last time. And I think most Rangers fans would rather see Rangers supporters at the game in the Broomloan Road, with Celtic having a lower allocation. And I don't see the league allocations changing in the next 5 years either. If anything, maybe getting smaller because of the carry-on. So back to football, let me know your thoughts on that position. Have Rangers been in for anyone else? I haven't seen anything. I went to bed early last night. I haven't seen any more signings that they're looking for. But it's interesting, this Lewis Ferguson debate isn't going away. He's now went public and said he will play for Rangers at some point in his career again. If he gets that chance, is that a cry for come and get me? It sounds like it to me. How do we go about that? Because obviously we don't have the Chermiti money that we thought we were getting, and Raskin hasn't left. Everyone's assuming Raskin's leaving. There's not been an official offer in for Raskin yet, so if we don't sell Raskin, we probably won't get Lewis Ferguson. If we do sell Raskin, can we get Lewis Ferguson? That's the question I would ask. He wouldn't come out and say that unless he meant it. So it sounds to me like he's putting himself out there in the shop window for the move that he's always wanted, is to come back and play for the famous. Could Rangers make this happen? Well, I think that they need I think Rangers this season, in the short term anyway, need a marquee signing. They need a match winner, and they need someone who can change games, who can stop us from losing games, and who can help us win games. And a Lewis Ferguson type player would be the ideal situation. I'm not convinced that the captaincy's really cemented either, because as much as I like Shankland, I don't think he's not at the peak of his career anymore. His age, he's not going to play every game, so the captain's getting passed about. Raskin was the captain for the whole game. I think there's a new agreement with Rangers. Now, I could be wrong with this, but I think there's a new agreement with Rangers anyway, that if you start the game as a captain and you're not subbed, you finish the game. So in other words, if Shankland comes on, he's not the captain unless he started the game. So that would leave space for a captain still, in my opinion. And if you brought Lewis Ferguson to the club, he would be captain material, because it's the ideal position where he plays in the middle of the park, in the midfield, and he's a natural born leader. So that opens that up for debate for me. Raymond, let's come back in. Come in with this one so I could comment. Sell Raskin, buy Ferguson. Financially, it's like for like. We're running out of time. That's my concern. We're running out of time, mate. That's the concern for me. The longer these things go on, it tends to cost Rangers more money. If we're going to do it, do it. I still think Raskin's the best midfielder at the club just now. But if he is all set and leaving the club, he's played in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. This is the time to sell. We've been bitten with that one a few times. Not selling at the right time. But we need offers if we're going to sell. So that'll be an interesting one for us. But yeah, I'd like to see us moving for Lewis Ferguson. If that's the last signing of the season, fair play, because it would be a lot of money for us, but there must be money in the bank. And the Americans, they really need to give the support a marquee signing, I think. Someone that the fans can get right behind. Look, people know everyone, but some of the fans are losing a bit of faith for the Americans. They have put their money in, but at the same time, are Rangers any better off? I would say not really. 50 million in, I don't see many improvements. Although Derek McInnes is clearly trying to make those improvements. So for me, it would be Derek McInnes to go for Lewis Ferguson if we can get a good price on the Raskin deal, and I don't see why we can't. If you agree with that, give us a thumbs up, and if you disagree, thumbs down. That would help me with my interactions, my likes, follows and shares. Interesting one here from Latimer. Can't see us getting big money for Raskin. What's your thinking behind that, mate? I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm just wondering, do you think it's his value? He's not good enough player to get high value. He played in the World Cup quarter-finals. If we were signing someone at that level, we'd be paying a lot of money. Or do you think it's to do with attitude? Just wondering what you mean with that. Oh, there's somebody coming in to watch us. Strange if anybody would go up this time in the morning to watch Rangers shows unless you supported Rangers, but that's what you're up against. Aye, you can let us know your opinion on that, Latimer. I know you're saying that we won't get big money for him. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I'm just wondering, do you mean you don't think that he's got the ability for it, or do you think there's something else in that? His agent should be, if he's walking away for Rangers, his agent should be maybe being more vocal as well. Because if Lewis Ferguson didn't want to sign for Rangers, he wouldn't be vocal. And that's how a lot of these guys play. They basically use the media. Guys like Fabrizio, and they use them to benefit. They basically advertise themselves, don't they, out there? It's all about the Gers, yes. It's all about the Rangers, the famous. Correct, my man? It's all about the Rangers. So it's some interesting comments coming in on that anyway, so you can let me know. We do have a new website. I need to keep plugging this because it's still really new, and we're going to be using all our media will be transferred onto the new website, www.gerstv.co.uk, and we will be live at most Rangers youth games now, if not all, doing live reporting, after match reporting the youth team as well, and supporting the Rangers youth development with a new tie-up that we have, and also promoting the Rangers youth team to the highest standard that we are possibly able to do. So that's a plan over the next year. So watch all that on www.gerstv.co.uk, and we'll also be featuring the ladies team at some level. There you go, there's a good point. Early stages, but a swap deal would be more realistic. And I'm not going to disagree. I wouldn't rule that out, the swap deal. But again, it's all down to the two teams would have to agree on that. He's quoted at 20 million, had a good World Cup, but his distribution is poor at times. Good point, mate. I get what you're saying. The fact that he played in the World Cup quarter-finals is a big selling point for me. If you keep him for another year, then in terms of business-wise, it'll probably devalue him. Not playing a high standard in Europe, let's face it, this Conference League isn't a high standard for me anyway. That devalues him a wee bit, and then you've got the problem of the Scottish League's not very highly rated, so he's played in the World Cup quarter-finals, and anyone's going to put a bid in. The highest bids would probably come just now, I would imagine, so take the money whilst available. We do have our Patreon account as well, if anybody's ever looking to support us and help us get better every week. That would be much appreciated. So not much more to talk about. I don't like Big Mark's made it this morning. Doesn't look like it. I'll get another 10 minutes, see if there's any comments come in that I can work on. That's just a wee banner coming up with a like, share and subscribe. Back to that. Multitasking at 7 in the morning. There you go. So there's a different comment coming in. Kenny Doran. I believe Raskin will be sold and we will receive the necessary money to buy Ferguson. If Ferguson didn't think there was a chance of this happening, he wouldn't be talking about it. Raskin is still playing. That's the thing. He's no throwing his jersey in. He's still out there trying. Didn't have his best game at the weekend, but he didn't have his worst game. So Raskin's still trying, but maybe there could be two reasons behind that. One, he wants to try and play well for Rangers, but also if he's wanting to move, he needs to be in best for him. Well, the agents look at him. It would be interesting to see what league people think Raskin would go to. But hopefully the next couple of days this all picks up. Yeah, there's a good point, Latimer. Hopefully we can progress interest in the Venezuelan and the MLS. That's went quiet over the last 2 days. I've noticed that. It certainly looks a big unit, the big striker. Is that right? Is that the boy you're talking about? Kelvin. Be interesting because I think that we need a real big goal scorer, somebody that we thought Shermiti was going to be. And to be fair, Shermiti might still be, still plays for the club. I don't want to bring the guy down in that manner, but somebody like somebody that can literally just score goals and create a threat to the defence. Someone in the mould of Mark Catley would be fantastic if you're only going to play, because I think Derek McInnes has learned a lesson. I think one up front. We've tried the two up front. The experiment for him hasn't worked, and I think he's realised with modern football, you need one up front, and it needs to be either a really good goal scorer or a false number 9, and we'd have to pick that. I'm not quite sure Ryan Naderi fits into the one up front mould. Possibly Miovski would, but he's nowhere near in McInnes' thoughts. He'll be another one at the door. So, yeah, the big Venezuelan striker might be the man. I think they need to swoop for someone up front fairly quickly. One more position in the defence would do me. So get that right back in for Aston Villa if he's any good, and then focus on centre forward. And after that, I would be looking at the Lewis Ferguson deal. That's how I see it. Anyway, good comments coming in here. Thanks a lot, Latimer. You helped me out a lot this morning. Aye, Kelsey. I think the problem of dealing with this one is they are 8 hours time-wise behind us, so you need someone on the recruitment team on the night shift. Aye, that's a good point. Well, I'm pretty sure I'm available. If you want to pay me, I'll certainly fly out to America and see the guy. Marco Negri type player. Yeah, that's it. Somebody that can basically hit the ground running and put the ball in the net. It's hard to find in this day and age. A lot of teams are even successful playing without the striker. I don't like that. I like somebody whose goal is a natural goal scorer to go out there and put the ball in the net. The best in the business for me was Mick Oyst. You probably won't see someone like that at Ibrox for a long time again, let's just say. Someone with a natural ability to just put the ball in the net. So that's the type of players I'd be going for. Get the right back in from Aston Villa if he's up to scratch, where it looks like Rangers are ready to get him. Kelsey, if he's the man for the forward position, get him in. And then Lewis Ferguson, if possible, should be a target. Very hard to get that move with the price of him and the wages, but we've got a few big earners off the wage bill. So let's make this happen, because we need something that's going to be the game changer at the club this season, and we need it fairly fast, I think. St Mirren game was good, but it wasn't that good. And we're going to play at a higher level, but we need to be ready and on the ball. Let me know what you think about players leaving as well. This is the biggest problem that our recruitment team has just now, I think. How do you get rid of some of these guys? I know young McCausland came on at the weekend and scored. I don't think he's got a future at Rangers. I don't see Dan Neil being here next season. Neil's just came in. Diamondi's just gone. Raskin's going to leave, I think. There's a lot of players that we should be looking at, how we possibly get them off our books. How we do that's another story altogether. Aye, this is an interesting one, the Brighton one. I read this at the weekend. What do you think of Brighton's winger? We've offered 7.5 million, but it's Tony Bloom's team. I think he's trying to play hard to get with that one, isn't he? I don't know anything about him, but if he's playing at that level, I would imagine he'll be a good winger. I'm really impressed by Yokota, I must say. I'm very impressed by him, but I think he's really struggling with the fitness levels and the intensity of Scottish football. And to see the best of Yokota, I think will be another month or 2 months away when he properly settles at the club. That would mean, I would probably like to, I would like to have another winger in, not just to challenge him, but I think there's going to be games where another winger would fit in there and Yokota wouldn't play. As well as that, Gassama had a good game at the weekend, but if we got a bid for Gassama, I'd let him go. I don't think Gassama's my type of player. And just a couple of comments for people there, definitely. From Latimer. Raskin has never pushed for a transfer. I'm sorry, I might be misquoted there, or maybe I got that wrong. If I said that he'd push for a transfer, I didn't mean that. You're correct. What I was meaning was, if he does want away, he should be making it more, a wee bit like Lewis Ferguson's doing, if he's wanting to leave the club. I'm of the opinion that if he wants to stay and we don't bring another midfielder in, I'd make him the captain. So I maybe got that one wrong, Kutchy, when I says that, I'm not sure. But aye, I was meaning his agent, if he's wanting to leave, he should be more pushy to leave. But aye, he's never really came out and said he wants to leave the club. And you have to remember, if Rangers were signing a player from Belgium in the quarterfinals of the World Cup, we were signing him this week, we'd all be excited about the player that we're getting in. So, good point, mate. Maybe I got that bit wrong, I'm not sure. Anything else coming in? No more comments. I'm going to give it another 5 minutes. I try to keep this show down to 25 to half an hour. Right, Kenny Doran's gave me one. Here, I'm going to bring this. My face will disappear in this. Our team at present is not that far away. The balance of the team is beginning to shape up. Let's find a young right back that can get up and down the wing. One more hard centre half won't be far away. Yeah, that's a good point, Kenny. It's quite similar to what I've said today and over the last few weeks. The team is slowly gelling. The problem with Rangers is you don't get time to gel. The fans expect, and quite rightly so, 15 years of suffering at times. I can understand why the fans are impatient, and I'm one of the fans at times, but I do think it's going to take time, and I hate hearing that. I hate hearing these projects and the silly things like that. But I think it's going to take a while to progress, and it's going to take a while to settle. The quicker these guys can do it, the better, though. I do agree with you. They looked a lot better at the weekend. What they're needing more than anything just now is consistency. They need to be winning on a regular basis, because that takes a bit of pressure off them. But you saw at the weekend, when St Mirren scored a goal, Rangers went back into a shell. Now, I have to note that Penrice mentioned this in his interview, and he's identified that because he's been watching Rangers. That's something that needs to stop. We need to have the mindset when a team scores against us, get the ball at the centre circle and be prepared to go at them right away, and when they're most vulnerable, as the stats say, and go for a reply. Keep the heads up. We need to get rid of this mentality where we put the heads down for 20 minutes, or when we equalise or scoring a game where we go one up, we think that's a game over. We need to have better concentration levels. How Derek gets that installed into them, maybe that's not his department, maybe it is, I don't know, but that's an issue he's got. And I've spoke about the Fernandes one for months now. You've got a good player, but he's getting terrible concentration, and at the level he's playing at, that's going to cost us big time. So I've got concerns on that one. So I'll be looking at that. I agree with that. Trying to get a centre half in and maybe another right winger. But back to what I said a few minutes ago, so I want to re-emphasise it. I think that Yokota will be a good player with Rangers. I like his style. I like somebody who's a winger but very direct. Someone who's not scared to go to the defence. And he's got great ability to put that final ball in. So I'm going to say I'm happy with that. No much more to talk about, guys. I've just watched for comments coming in for a few minutes. We shout out again for the website, www.gerstv.co.uk, and if you could like and share. We've got a live show coming up tonight. That comes on at 7 o'clock. There'll be a 2 to 3 man panel. If you want to phone into that, you just need to give us 15 minutes notice. Send me a PM with 15 minutes of notice on it, and we'll get you on the live show tonight where you can talk about Rangers. It's on for an hour at the studio, and you'll be able to talk about Rangers, give us your opinion on it, and we welcome different viewpoints, whether you agree with us or disagree with us. Anyone that's respectful, they get an invite back on again, where you can talk about the game at the weekend with Rangers and St Mirren, or the game coming up on Thursday night, how you feel about it, where it links in your priorities for the season now, and anything else Rangers. So you can come on that tonight, but if you don't want to come on it, please join us and watch us anyway. It'd be fantastic to see a good crowd on it, and that's on YouTube, Facebook, X, or you can watch it the easiest way possible is www.gerstv.co.uk. Thanks a lot, guys. I don't see much more coming in, so I'm going to just quickly do a wee plug for our Gers TV Lotto agency. Or on our website, you'll see this, that you can become a Rangers Pools player with our agency, 4500 at Gers TV, and that helps the Rangers Youth Department. It also helps you with a chance of winning money every week, and you don't have to do anything. It's based on the national lottery numbers, and if you win it, Rangers contact you and send you the money right away. So that might be something you're interested in. All you do is go to the Rangers Youth Development website or hit the link on our page to go into it. And then when you're applying, you just ask for the Rangers agency, the Gers TV 4500. Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure to speak to you all again. I'll speak to you tonight on the live show, where I'll be the admin. and thanks for all your support. Win, lose or draw, we are the people.